Right, watcher. Bash plate part 13 now. A little bit of a disaster, not really.
But it's 13.
But it is the 13th episode. Drilled them holes last time, 4 holes, 22mm. Not very interesting episode. There you go. Went to the bolt shop to get me some washers of the same size. Those holes are 22mm. I asked the yonner behind the counter for washers that are 22mm. So as a result, he gave me washers that are 24mm. I just realised. Go to put them on there, and they is too big. Now I'm quite happy because they're slim here and they fit in the sense that they fit over the holes, and I was assuming I'd have to overlap them, grind them down to get them to fit, but they are correct. I've spaced the holes enough to get them in. So the washers are good. Nothing wrong with the washers, that's what I wanted, it's just the wrong size, and that's a bit of a pain. But there we go, cone cutter of doom. And let's drill these out just a little bit bigger. With some oil and some shade protection. You're going to put them on, Ben? Yours? You got them?
I've got my Eltons.
Got your Eltons. Show us the Eltons. Very big ones, right. Okay.
You took my eye out with them.
There you go. Right. Let me just pop a little bit. Actually, I'll go in the back on this, I think. So hold it a bit flatter. I think I'll clamp it still this time because it's all too easy for the drill to grab hold of that and rotate the whole thing into me. Right, next door's lit than tea then. Right, a little bit of oil on there. And a little bit in the cutter as well. I think I said this last time. I didn't really want to do these any bigger than 22mm, but there you go. Like they say, best laid plans. There we go, rotation. A system of rotation, haven't it? There's one. I've got a slip chuck on that as well, so it doesn't overload the drill. There we go. Was too small. Is right size. Right.
Perfecto.
Perfecto mundo. Okay, number 2.
Don't drink that, looks like Ribena.
Yeah, probably doesn't taste like Ribena. Not as you remember it. Right, a bit in there. Oh, well, a big bit in there. Plenty in there.
Could you add a cherry bakewell?
Yup. Scavenge a bit of that for there. Incidentally, a few people have asked about this thing. It's just a painting thing. B&Q Depot. You just use it for painting trestle and stuff. So, piece of cake, about fibre. In case y'all wondered what it is. Three. And finally, there it is. Perfect.
Done.
That's it. Excellent. Right. Rag and just dry up some of that oil. That wonderful sulphur smell when you put oil on hot metal. I think that is the smell of fabrication. Clean up. Right, they're not perfect yet, but then I'm going to, once these washers are in the back, that will give that visual thickness. And I want them just a tiny bit smaller, so when they're welded in I can use a hand file and just dress them out correct. Perfect. Right, okay, now these being obviously nickel plated, that will never do. Can't go welding that, so we'll get 4 of them. Always when I do this, when you go out and buy fasteners, bits, pieces like that, I just got 10. I never buy 1 or 2 because you know you'll always drop one down the back of the bench or bugger one up. So always buy half a dozen more than you need, and that forms your stock for the future. You'll always use them. Might be 3 years from now, but you'll be glad you didn't. Right, all I want to do with this one is set these up. Right. For want of a better tool, we'll just set the lapper up because I don't have a belt sander. Some donations of a belt sander will be gratefully received. Let's put that back out of the way. Right. Now I'm just going to grab hold of these and just take off this nickel plating because it's pretty nasty if you start welding over through that plastic. Won't penetrate properly either. Ready? Right, there we go. 4 washers, no zinc. Okie doke. Right, now let's set the welder up and tack them in place. Here we go. The only way I can hold these is just literally press down on them with my hand and then tack them in place. Right.
Right, ready?
And my dries.
Mm-hmm.
Not going anywhere. And eyes ready.
Mm-hmm.
Right, there we are, there's one. That's masses of power, which is what I've tried to do to get a real brush. Lost everything this week. Back to it in a minute, where it is. I just wanted to buzz that on with loads of power because these washers are real thick. And it only needs tacking in place because there's only dress washers. There you go, nice fit. Do it at that angle. Space to do the next one. Right. Eyes down for a full house. Number 2. Okay. Nice big fat tack. Actually wants a little bit more wire speed there. Big tacks, baby. Right, that's number 2. That's all it needs, just 4 big tacks. There's no weight on that at all. Great thing with a MIG welder, you get no slag. That beef you up welding stuff. Let's just check. Don't put any more heat through that. There you go. Decent bit of penetration right through. And looking in that gap now, that is nice and thick. Looks much better. And once we can, what I want to try and do with those is file them round so they absolutely match the profile of the washer, and then I'll tin them or lead them in so you get that nice profile rounded like the rest of it. Okay, let's do the last 2. That's better. It's up against the workmate, that one, and it's drawing the heat out of it. Fabulous tackage. Lots of tackage. Now, test for any weld. I think they're coming off. Right. Now I think that's done the job. I don't want to, let's just check if that's buckled it. There you see there, that heat just buckled a little bit in there, which I just reckon we straighten out while it's hot. Oh, that is really hot. Just while it's warm still, I'm going to dress that out. I mean, this is the reason I don't want to weld too much on this. Another glove. Good old Alpine Stars. There we are, more or less straight. See, this is the thing really, when you're doing stuff like this, if you just keep beating on it over and over until eventually it's got buckled and twisted up all over the place. So I've got to keep it to a minimum and just do what I need to do to make a nice job. And this is actually quite buckled this time. I don't want to bend it too much because all that leading that's in that joint, I don't want to crack that and break it out or anything. Although it's pretty well stuck in there. The leading was a good result. It can still be broken out if the panel flexes too much, no matter how good it is, even if it was a professional job. Just a case of just gently, that's it, there we go. Straight. Whoa, check that out. Snooker player would be chuffed with that. A little bit there. Just a little bit there. Right, that's it, okay. Take off some of that mess. Oops. Bit of safety first. I keep doing this, I don't say safety first as much as perhaps I should, but honestly do. If you're grinding, cutting, drilling, anything at all that flings bits of metal off, just protect your orbits, eh? You know what I mean? You go to the hospital and pulling bits of metal out of your eyes, it ain't funny. This ain't going to be bright, Pen, you're right.
No. Sorry, I've got my glasses.
Penny's just putting a welding mask on. Safety first, eh, Pen?
I didn't have my glasses.
Do you want to crash on me? Shall I get your arrow for you? I'm just going to grind off some of this mess. Right. Every spark you see, every little spark, it's not just a spark of heat or whatever, it's actually a bit of metal. Tiny little dust, piece of dusty metal that is on fire. And if it goes in your eye, it'll melt its way in. I've been there a couple of times and it ain't funny, really it is. It can spoil your whole frigging morning. Okay, now's the bit where everybody turns There's the volume off, because we're going to turn your teeth on edge. This now, I just want to, actually I wonder, I'm going to check something. Check these 22mm washers. I think, rather fortuitously, that's amazing. That profile of that half round file is exactly the same as the 22mm. So maybe the guy that gave me the wrong washers was my friend after all. Because all this can do now is just run that down and it will give me an exact profile. But all this is to do is there's a tiny imperfection in where I lined it up. This just takes it out. And yes, I know I shouldn't pull backwards with the file. I know. But hey, sometimes you can't do it right. Just getting those two rings absolutely aligned. Just the last little, doing it by feel really. Just feeling so that they're absolutely parallel and completely circular. A tiny bit there. Doesn't take much, 3 or 4 strokes of the file, it just takes it out. That's it. There we are. Right, those 4. Kind of look down that way, as you can see now they're all completely lined up, and that's a lot thicker, neater looking. Okay, that'll do for one day I think. Now obviously them now, there you go, that's the intention. So there's another little success there. That was the intention and that was the result, and that's the best you can ask for on any project. This is taking a little bit of a while, not much progress again, 4 washers welded on, but there you go, that's fabrication for you. It does take forever. What we've got in that so far is 1.5 pounds of contraption at this point, which isn't too heavy. I'm going to go with the P-clips in the bottom because they're nice and secure. They do go around the frame. Didn't want to because they're not as, you know, they're for pipes and that sort of thing, and I just didn't feel that they were the coolest way to do it. But there's nothing underneath the engine to bolt into as I have with this, so it's only that little bit to stop it moving around. So it'll get 2 nice big rubber lined pipe clips underneath and just bolt them through that, piece of cake. Also got to drill some holes in that in the future so the water runs out. It's not going to get wet all the time. It is a nice bike, it's not going to go out in all the weathers, but you've got to have a drain hole, otherwise it'll just rot its way through. So that's it for now. I think we're almost ready now to start prepping for paint. Once I've got the P-clips in place, they'll stay on the frame, just presenting 2 bolt holes. As for the rest of it, we'll just have 2 holes there. And once I can start prepping it for paint, get some paint, I'm going to use that matte black heat-proof paint that I used on the exhaust for the Scrambler. The reason for that is that stuff's absolutely indestructible. It's a ceramic paint, it takes all kinds of battering, and the front edge lip, show 'em, pen. So actually have a look. This here, that's the front edge there, and that's been wet and filthy and blasted in the rain 100 times since this has all been finished and painted, and it hasn't got an absolute scratch on it, nothing. It's had grip blasting right on that edge, and it's red hot as well. So I'm going to use that because I think that is the right paint for this. There's all sorts of things, people have been saying bed liner and all sorts. Yeah, I could do that, but it'd look shit really, wouldn't it? All that stodgy bed liner all over it. It's not what it's about, it's a nice bike. So once I can get a layer of paint on it, then I can start cutting up the mesh, put the mesh in behind there. Whether I go with rubber lining in those, I don't know. Just make it up as I go along, you know the score, that's how it works. So for now, I'm going to call that done for today, episode 13. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, anything else, otherwise, drop us a line as always, we're always happy to help. Thanks for tuning in, obviously Delboy's Garage. This has been number 13. Number 13. See you for the next one soon. Take it easy, ride safe. Bye now.